Good morning, Year 6. Welcome back. This is a term 4, and this is Monday of the first week. I hope you had a really super half term and just spent time relaxing, recharging the batteries, having fun, and now we're back ready for another term of learning. So it's Monday, and on the Monday we do our reading. And for today's reading session, we're going to be looking at predicting, the skill of predicting when we read something. And basically, we're going to go through the flip chart like we have been in term 3, looking at what types of predicting questions there's going to be, how they're asked, and how to also answer them as well. So let's have a look to see what predicting is. And basically, it's predicting what might happen from the details stated and implied from what you have read. And it says this means you need to try to make a logical and reasonable guess about what could happen next. And you do this by looking at what has already happened, what the characters may have hinted is coming up, or what has been implied by the author's use of language. So, for instance, if someone brought a cake lit with candles into a party, what would happen logically next? Just have a think about that. So, what would logically happen next? Well, if someone brought a cake lit with candles into a birthday party, logically next, I would predict that whoever birthday it is, the guests are going to sing happy birthday to them. I wonder if you were able to predict that as well. So let's have a look at some predicting type questions. So one of them is the give your opinion type question. And this type of question will give you multiple options to decide between, but there is not one correct answer. You need to make your selection and fully explain why you chose it using evidence from the text to support your answer. So it's normally one of those 3-mark type questions, and the marker is looking for at least 2 points which support your choice or your answer, and then one of them being supported with evidence from the text. Now, we've looked at using evidence from the text when we've looked at inference type questions as well. And that's really important. And if you think about using the APE structure, the answer it, prove it, explain it, that's a good one to do. Okay, so that's the give your opinion type question. The next type of predicting type question is a logical next step question. And this question wants you to look closely at what has already happened in a particular part of the text and use that to help you to predict what might happen next. Your answer to this type of question must contain a causal conjunction, e.g., I think that they will, because in the text it says, okay. Now, obviously, these are types of predicting questions, so it's not going to tell you what happens next. You need to use what you have read to come up with some logical and reasonable suggestion as to what happens next. So that's a logical next step. What's likely to happen? What might predicting questions ask? They could ask questions like this. Based on what you've read, what do you think might happen next? Do you think that this character will change their behaviour in future? Why? How would someone you know react if they were in this situation? What do you think is likely to happen and when? What clues does the front cover give us about the contents of this book? So that's about looking at the cover for clues as to maybe what the book is about. And how do you think this story might end? Now, like I said a bit earlier on, these questions, you won't know what the answers are. Okay, because you won't read that far. The idea of predicting, if you think about watching films, maybe TV programs, reading a book, is based on what you've seen or heard, you can predict maybe what's happened or what is going to happen later on. All right. Now, when we do these types of questions within class, we won't necessarily then continue to read that particular text to see what does actually happen. All right. Now, it's your go. Okay, now you're used to this text because we used it last term. We've used the chapter that you're going to be using before, so you should be really familiar with this. So what I'd like you to do is read the chapter again to familiarize yourself with it and have a look at these questions here. All right, one of them, what do you think Katana will do with the ground topaz? Why do you think this? Do you think Katana will try to find fire opals? Yes, no. Explain your choice using evidence from the text. Which of these do you think is most likely to happen next? And tick one of those. So you've got 4 options there. What do you think is most likely to happen? And this is all based on what you are going to be reading and thinking about what's most likely going to happen next. So pause the video, children. Have a look at those questions, read the text and have a go at answering them, and then unpause the video and we'll have a look at it together. Right, well done, children. So let's have a look then. I added that text in again, actually. Sorry about that. So like I've done in the past, the question is here and I have put the answers down in particular colours of text. Okay, type in, and that shows where I have got that evidence to suggest what was likely to happen next. Now, if we have a look in the text, what you'll see is those different colours indicating where I have used that evidence to suggest what would happen next to help me answer those questions. And what you may notice is actually some of the information within that text supports multiple of those questions that have been asked. All right, so just take the time having a look at your answers and having a look at the answers that I got. And then what I'd like you to do is your independent reading for today is have a look at Out on the Ocean and read the part here and then have a look at answering numerous questions based on that. Now, that's a separate PDF within our Year 6 folder. So have a look at that and have a go at doing it. Have a really good session. Lovely to be able to say hello to you today. Let's make it really positive start to term 4, and I will see you tomorrow for grammar. Bye, everyone.